fellow's mind is not for rent. Don't put him down as arrogant. It's a Judas reading. It's $30,000. It's a Judas reading. You look to my playlist, the Judas readings. You know, there's one there. There's another playlist called $30,000. That's what you owe me if you steal my stuff. See, by me putting this stuff out here, it's basically copyrighted. It's the same as sending something in the mail to yourself that you wrote when you send something to a publisher. You send it, a manuscript, to yourself, and you never open it, and it's got a postal stamp on it that says when it was sent, so you know that if somebody else took it and there's enough of it to make a case, they stole your stuff. And I say, you can take my stuff in a bargain. Everything you take, you give me $30,000 and we'll call the deal. That's going cheap with some of the good stuff I've got, you know. Oh, geez. Where am I? Where was I? I was in the attic earlier today, getting the last of the returnables out of there from the COVID years. Oh, I hope, being that I said COVID, doesn't get my video erased. They were the COVID years. I think it's already in the history books now, so you can't blame me. I'm just repetitive now. It's okay to be repetitive. That's how the other side does it. Never even have to think for yourself. It's a Judas reading. And I've been thinking about this story that I've got for you right now. I've been thinking about it for some time. There was at one point that I had to move stuff into the attic, and it turns out everything from my brain went up there. And I've got stuff scattered, and I'm trying to pull it together, and I was up there today getting the cans out. No problem at the can return, but I think I'm done with the COVID for good now. There's nothing left in the bank other than my writings, which will be $30,000. You just send me a check. I'll sign over the copyright to you. You could probably do something with it. But you've noticed before, I've talked about Jung, and I've talked about the cellar space with the dreams where there are dusty places and dank things. That's down in the bottom, and I say there's an attic up there that keeps our intelligent thoughts and actions rather than the emotive responses that go down there. And down there, they're attacking everybody around them. But sometimes if you spend too much time in the attic, the neighbors will start to question you, and they're down there having an emotive response. They say, that guy's fucking weird. I'm not weird. I'm just a dork. I always have been. I'm not a nerd. I'm not good enough at anything to be a nerd. A dork, that's all I've ever been, and I get along with dorks just fine. So they see the dork up in the fucking attic, and they think he's up to something. They say, you think you're a smart guy, huh? And you go, well, I've listened to you so long. Tell me I'm smart. Now that I think of it, I must be a dumbass for believing you. Look where it got me, type of thing. But no, this story, it's a story. Fairview Cemetery. I can even tell you this. And the truth is, I just did a video of me pulling out of Gaylord, leaving Gaylord, and that's what Gaylord is, just a giant cemetery. And that cemetery I released that I found from a couple years ago, the video, this thing is inspired by that cemetery, Gaylord. How far are you going to leave something buried behind you? The title is at the bottom of the page. It's the last thing I will say. It's a Judas reading. There was something else in the house and you knew it, but you hadn't the courage, so you couldn't go through it. Away from the rats and the cats and the bats, away from the house that holds them all. The eyes are all empty, rigorous, fingers grip fear, ears deaf to mute lips. No one ever leaves here. Took it away, filled it up, put it in the ground, so folks wouldn't hear the rotting. It's such an awful sound. The trees grow dark together and hide the stones of fools. The graves, they sink beneath you and sometimes grab your shoes. You listen for a sigh and the ya turns yawning maw. Final judgment, plea denied. The soulless hunters draw. Curiosity. See, it's curiosity. It killed the cat. You spend your whole time in a house that's haunted to begin with, growing up next to a cemetery, and at some point you go over there out of curiosity to see which place is worse. And the trees grow dark together and hide the stones of fools. If you can't see them, they're forced to scream out to you as you walk through there in the dead of night. I am alive. I haunt the dead. The graves, they sink beneath you. You see, it was before they had concrete vaults. It was just your damn pine box down there. So as time went by, it sinks in, breaks the weight of the earth. So these old graves have these things, and it's really creepy to lie in them. You keep thinking something's going to reach up and get you. But it hasn't. I've seen things in there that I can explain, but I can't prove. How's that? I know what I saw. But sometimes there isn't evidence left behind. The one time that I thought it was the one time I wasn't going to get any evidence left behind at all, I got back to the house after walking through there, and my father, a day or two later, said he had something pounding on the wall, pounding on the wall, pounding on the wall. And I said, what time was it? I don't know, probably 2:45. That's when I was coming through and haunting the dead. So, is there evidence left behind? I don't know. There it is. It's just a little story. It's just what you get with curiosity. That soulless hunters draw. That's death with an attack. The only reason you'll ever have to fight death, suffer the power of death's rage, is you try to fight it too long. How much you got in you. A curiosity. That's written by Judas. $30,000.